Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com. Democracy dies in fake news. The motto of the Washington Post is, "Democracy dies in darkness." And 1 year ago, them and their Democratic friends in Congress were holding their annual impeachment trial of President Trump. There was a virus raging in China, but the Washington Post and the Democrats felt that getting rid of Donald Trump was a higher priority. The Washington Post didn't have much luck getting rid of President Trump in January, so in February they turned their attention to getting rid of the flu. They said, "Get a grip, America. The flu is a much bigger threat than coronavirus." The rapidly spreading flu virus has closed schools in Knoxville, Tennessee, cut blood donations to dangerous levels in Cleveland, and prompted limits on hospital visitors in Wilson, North Carolina. It has infected as many as 26 million people in the United States in just 4 months, killing up to 25,000 so far. Wow, 25 million Americans infected with the flu in just 4 months. According to the CDC, that's the same number of people who've been infected with coronavirus over the past 11 months. And the huge number of flu cases was despite the fact that there was a flu vaccine which more than half the population had taken. No wonder the Washington Post said that the flu is a much bigger threat than coronavirus. Now let's take a look at the middle of February last year. Dr. Fauci said the risk of coronavirus in USA is minuscule and people should not be wearing masks. So the Washington Post and Dr. Fauci both said no worries about coronavirus. When President Trump shut down travel from China to stop the spread of the virus, the Washington Post said that he was being xenophobic. And then a few weeks later, the Washington Post said that President Trump didn't act quickly enough to stop the spread of the virus coming in from other countries. Both the Washington Post and Dr. Fauci gave terribly wrong information to the American public. And the Washington Post attacked the president for trying to prevent the spread of the virus in from other countries. All of these contradictions might seem a bit confusing if you're not a master of the art of doublespeak like the Washington Post. But this story gets even more ridiculous. The Washington Post said that the flu is a much bigger threat than coronavirus. And then a few months later, the Washington Post said that flu had magically disappeared and coronavirus is to thank. Here's an article from today out of Syracuse, New York. The lab at St. Joseph's Health had run nearly 16,000 flu tests this season as of late last week. All were negative. At St. Joseph's, we've not had a single positive case of the flu. Before school started last autumn, Dr. Fauci was trying to discourage school districts from in-person learning because he said there was going to be a huge problem with COVID-19 combined with the flu. But the flu has magically disappeared. We are supposed to be in peak flu season right now, but this graph of pediatric flu deaths in the United States shows that there's only been one flu death among children in the United States in the past 9 months. As you can see, the number of flu deaths this year among children has been much smaller than normally occurs. And this graph from the CDC of COVID-19 deaths sorted by age shows that there's only been about 260 deaths among children in the United States from COVID-19 over the past year. That is considerably less than the number which normally die from flu. So essentially no children are dying from the flu this year and very few are dying from COVID-19. Children are safer than they've ever been in the history of the world. But despite the fact that the flu has essentially disappeared and there's very few children dying from COVID-19, the Washington Post tells us that schools are refusing to open because of their fear of viruses. Nothing which the Washington Post reports about this virus makes any sense or is consistent with what they said previously. The Washington Post has gotten used to blaming their bad behavior on Donald Trump, but now that he's gone, they're going to have to find somebody else to kick around. I wonder who that's going to be. Toto has been very busy this year. The level of insanity from the press and from the Democrats has been completely off scale. Please visit Toto and Kyrie on the web at realclimatescience.com.